Hello, it's Friday the 6th of September after the close. I thought I'd run through a trade idea I'm looking at in SUI and how I use fibs for trade ideas and why, or what I would look for this to work. You know, on the most crypto is really heavy at the moment, led by Bitcoin. September's the worst month of the year for September. I think for a lot of these we're going to have to be patient first, but for SUI let's talk about this on the weekly chart here. So one of the fib retrace levels that I like to look at is a 786 fib, and for me, when you close above the 61, when you reverse at the 786 retrace level and you close above the 61.8, I'm usually looking for at least a 3-wave move, and my first target is the 38.2 up here. So, is this what we are looking at here, or was this a false break above this 61.8 fib level? Because we've got really stuck underneath these weekly moving averages. Quite a lot of altcoins made this same pattern. A lot of altcoins that I was watching. For example, this is Fetch AI. Let's go to the weekly on this one, and we go back to the lows that we saw in 2022 to the highs that we made up here 2024. We made a really nice bounce from the 61.8 in this chart, but we couldn't close above this 61.8. So for me, it's still in a downtrend, and I'm looking for a bigger bottoming pattern. So if we go down to the daily, you can see what I mean. We clearly failed at this level, and this 786 reversal sticks were still in it. There's quite a few others, like in the meme coins. Dog with hat made the same pattern here. So from the lows in February to the highs in April. Here we pull back textbook to a 786 fib retrace from this high to low here, 786. Couldn't get above the 61.8 on a back test. And we've kind of double topped here with a swing failure pattern in a very clear 3-wave move. So for me, that says this one, unfortunately, is still in a downtrend. Somebody asked me the other day, where does the 786 fib come from? Because they know the 61.8 is clear. The 786 fib is the square root of 61.8, and 886 is the square root of 0.786. So these are where these fib levels come from, if you're wondering. So now, for example, in Dog with Hat and Fetch and these others that have done this and failed, I'm looking for what happens now on a retest of the lows and a bigger bottoming pattern. And when you make a big ABC pattern like this, normally the most common retrace of this 3-wave move, so if we take the other fibs off and look at this, the most common retrace of an ABC pattern like this is a 786, and we have not got that here yet in this one in WIF. So 1.28, this is where I would be looking for this one, or a double bottom or some kind of bottoming pattern, but it's not for me, you know, in any reversal yet. So the key question then comes back to SUI. Was this a false break above this 61.8 here? Because you can see it was a pretty good support and resistance level, this 61.8 fib, and it's at 0.895. But I kind of like the look of this. When I look at this on the daily, it looks like we had a kind of 5-wave impulse move, and this now looks like a very clear 3-wave, you know, zigzag correction. So I would be looking after this 3-wave move for another swing higher. So I've been watching this today for a bottoming pattern to see if we could close above the daily 20 moving average and be on our way, and maybe tackle this 61.8 and get hold above it. If this was a false breakout, it'll become resistance. But if it wasn't, then I'd like to see us back above this 61.8, 0.895, and on our way up again. But I was actually looking on a lower time frame. I thought, you know, this was looking like potentially a pretty nice inverted head and shoulders pattern. The problem is that we had a false breakout, if that was the kind of bottoming pattern that we were seeing here on this 4-hour, and on this hourly you can see even more. We had a bit of a false breakout here. So was that the case? Is this just a correction, and are we going to see another swing lower in SUI? I'm not sure. So here's the thing. So this is, if we think this is a 3-wave move, I'm going to measure from this high to low like this. We didn't quite tag the equal measure move. It kind of makes me a little bit nervous we might come back and retest it and do some kind of bottoming pattern. But when you think you've made an ABC equal measured move kind of pattern like this, the key resistance level that you've got to get above is when you back test the 61.8, because three-wave corrective moves are very often equal, but quite often this C leg, the third leg, will be shorter. It would just be 61.8 of the first one, which I've measured here. So this is 0.859. So this kind of now gives us an important resistance zone in SUI. Between 0.859 and 0.95, this is our resistance that we need to overcome and get above. And if we can, so that's what I'm looking for now. This was a false move, and now we do it over the weekend. Now, where's our targets? Is this trade going to be worth it? Because if you reverse to the 786 fib and you can close and hold above the 61.8, sorry, on the back test. So if you reverse to the 786, get above the 61.8, your first target is the 38.2. Now you're going to have a wobble in the middle at this 50%, and this is also big deal support and resistance and the 200-day moving average. So don't be surprised if you get a wobble here. But really your first target should be up here. So if we can hold above 0.895, and we might not, we might just continue, continue lower with everything else. But if we can hold above 0.895, first target is 1.38 for SUI, and that's what I'm looking at. That's how I'm trading it. How am I gonna? I've put in little alerts over the weekend, so if we can hold above here, I'm gonna watch it by pullbacks, and my first target is going to be 1.38, but I am expecting a little bit of a wobble in the middle here at 1.14. I might take some partial profits there. So that's my trade idea for SUI. I hope that's useful.